Okay, well this is exciting, guys. We are so lucky because we have Manon here for her first 5G Summit appearance. And so Manon, we're really grateful for your appearance. We're glad for you to be here and we're really excited to hear from you.
I'm very excited to be here, so thanks for the invite.
You can tell she's from Canada.
I haven't said nothing so far, so no one can notice.
I think Manon Brouillette might give it away.
And I'm not from Paris, I'm from Montreal, Canada. Yes.
So guys, she led the fastest growing wireless provider in Canada, so she brings a wealth of knowledge to us. That's been about a decade that I think you were there?
15 years.
15 years, there you go. Time flies.
A
unique
younger.
perspective she's bringing to us here in the US market. Tell me more about broadband and what you see the broadband market here in the United States. What's shaking things up at Verizon?
I think it's a very exciting moment for broadband in the US. And the funny thing is that you refer to my journey in Canada, and we were a cable operator at first. And my role was to transform the business to become a real telecom player. So we went to auction, we rolled out mobile network. So we were some kind of the challenger and the disruptor in the mobile industry coming from that angle. And today what I see in the broadband industry is that we are playing the other role around, making broadband different for Americans, making it more accessible, and we are kind of disrupting, I would say, the broadband industry, the old cable mentality. So I think it's very exciting. There's a lot of potential.
Yes, I think so. And one of the things I just love to talk about is 5G home broadband.
Yeah.
I really think it's shaking up the market. I mentioned it in my opening remarks. Why don't you give us a little bit more detail on what you see about how that's bringing competition to the market?
Yeah, going back to that challenger mentality and reinventing the broadband industry, I think that what we've decided to do when we came here with becoming actually, because we were only in the eastern region with Fios, and Fios is a great platform, but when we go through 5G home now, it's opened a totally new territory. So I think that the idea for us was to say, how can we be disruptive to the industry? How can we solve customer pain point? Because there's a lot. Not to be focusing on cable industry only, but thinking about, you have to have a contract, you have to wait all day of your work at home to be installed, you have to rent your equipment, then most of the time there's big promotion, but after 12 months or 24 months there is a big price spike. So we were thinking about it, how can we solve all those pain points? So it was easy for us because we're new. We can start from scratch with a white sheet of paper, and that's what we've decided to do. So I think that it's really popular. The traction so far is great, and we're delivering on the promise, meaning that you can self-install, it's easy, it's price locked, so you don't have to wait for your price to have a spike after a couple of months of promotion, and not without being self-promoting here. I think that's mainly about consumer.
I think you're allowed to self-promote.
No, but it's more about let's solve for consumer, and we've been talking about digital divide all day, and I think we want to play that role as well. And we talk about 5G home, but there's also track phone portfolio, so 5G home can also be accessible for people that are in different segmentation of population, and you will see us everywhere to make sure that we can connect any American. So,
I'm just so excited about it. And I think, honestly, the consumers out across the country are seeing it almost more than we are here in Washington. So would you describe it as a consumer or business product?
I think it's both. Of course, I'm focusing on consumer in my role, but my partner in crime, Tammy Arwen, who's in charge of Verizon Business Group, has a lot of success with the solution. So for the first time, I know we're talking about 15 years ago where I was when we started to roll out mobile technology. Any player around the globe wanted to do remote, over-the-air internet. But it was very complex 10 years ago. You needed that big antenna on the house and all of that. Today, it's a small CPE. The technology with millimeter waves, with C-band, it really unlocked the real over-the-air broadband, as I like to name it. So it applies to any home, but it also applies to any small, medium, larger enterprise. So I think that the technology is today there to be able to unlock new competition in the market, so any company, any consumer will be winner at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Really interesting. I think, again, there's so much reason to be excited for it. I guess I'd like to ask, you mentioned FiOS, and then now we're talking about 5G home. Kind of what do you see, where do you see this in the greater Verizon strategy, and where do we go with it?
I think that for any players like us, is more about what is the cost per bit to deliver great connectivity, what is the time to market. We have expertise in all. You know, FiOS is fiber, so we know how it takes time to roll out fiber plant and extra miles, etc. We know the cost of that. It's a great technology, and we're still rolling out. Every year we expand the network. But now with 5G, we feel that we can get to some places quicker, really faster, and it's easier for us to connect at a better cost per bit in some areas. So it's more about, let's look at the broadband industry, what is the best technology and the time to get there at the best cost per bit to make sure that consumer can be connected as quickly as possible.
That is such a great answer, and I don't think you realize that, but that's a great answer for Washington right now as we look into...
and we are in Washington.
We are.
No, but it's truly, I mean,
the logic-free
really
zone, as my dad would say.
But it's the way we really look at it. That's what it's nice about operating. Even LTE, I mean, we're all about 5G, but in some areas, LTE is a great technology. So how do you, I would say, combine, sometimes overlap layers of technology to make sure that you have the best unit economic and that you can get technology connectivity as quickly as possible? Because, I mean, there's a lot of people that's still waiting for connectivity in the US. It's the theme, of course. So I think that this 5G technology, we're not the only one in there. It's a new key to unlock bridging or closing that digital divide we've been talking about.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is the goal of the infrastructure laws, which we were hearing Senator Klobuchar touch on. We heard Brian Deese talk about it this morning quite a bit from the White House point of view. I guess I know this is not your area of expertise, but as we go to put these infrastructure rules in place, do you have any sort of recommendations for NTIA or the states for key considerations?
Yeah, I think that everyone plays a role, an important role. I think that from my standpoint, what we see so far is that's a great bill. It's an amazing time for the Americans to be connected, to get connection. But the thing is, we have to make sure that we all work together, and because the way it's done, as you know, is that the federal, and then you have the states that are managing how, and each state is putting their own rules. Sometimes there's municipalities that are entering into place, so it becomes very complex from an operator standpoint to say, okay, how do I comply here? And now those are new rules, so it takes time. And the other thing is some areas, they want to recognize only one type of technology, and now we know that any technology, we have to be agnostic of technology and making sure that time is taken into account, cost to get that bit to that home taken into account. So I think that we need to be open-minded and work all together to make sure that we will get there as quickly as possible. The other thing as well is I think that all operators, and that's what I feel anyway, I mean, we are all competing, but I think there's some alignments on various aspects, is that we want to play a role. I think that we are the operator that can bring that product to market. How can we enable community that didn't have access to technology before to make sure that they learn and they upskill to get there as quickly as possible? And quick example, Verizon, we're investing a lot through the Verizon Foundation in school and areas where connectivity is not there. So we bring 5G in the school, we get connectivity to those kids for them to learn the digital era, how to thrive in the digital era, to make sure that they don't have enough, too much gap at one point when they get the connectivity home.
Okay, you touched on so many things I just want to stand up and cheer about in that answer, but the first one is that the states really need to pay attention to what's best for the states because there are so many great technologies out there. I think that's really important. I think everyone in this room agrees, and they're silently clapping for you right now, so thank you for saying that. And then I think, this digital inclusion, that Verizon is doing such an incredible job. Nice Verizon red suit, by the way. But I think digital inclusion Verizon's been such a leader about that. Can you share a little bit about more about what Verizon is doing.
I'm so excited about that. First of all, I mean, when I looked at the number, I was, 40% of Americans have access to the ACP. It's a lot. This means that there's a lot of people that need help to get connectivity. So I'm so excited about that. First of all, because I think we have the platform now to get to areas where we couldn't before as quickly as possible. I always come back to that because I think that time to connect is important. But the other thing is that with TracFone, we haven't talked about TracFone. As you know, we purchased TracFone at the end of last year, and we started to work with them in January. And I mean, their motto is really bridge the digital divide. They want to connect as many people as possible. And I think that with all those portfolio of brands, we have now the opportunity to talk to any type of American, depending of their social economic background, where they are sometimes in their life. Because you know, Meredith, that at some point in your life, things are going well and you go through a rough path for a couple of months. So then we can navigate those consumers to any type of portfolio because we are able to connect them through various platforms. So this really, it brings me joy because I really feel that we can live that mission, expand that mission even more.
See, it's a wonderful story, and I told you you were going to get to tout your own horn. So I want to ask you one more question I think is really important to what Verizon has done for the United States in the past, through the COVID, lockdowns. And I just think it's worth saying thank you, and also to hear a little bit more about what Verizon has done, because that work continues every day. And I think we all realized how critical it was so that the work does continue. And so I think maybe I'd love to just hear a little bit more about what's going on with Verizon there.
Yeah, I think first of all, it's funny that you say that because that's one of the things that inspired me to join the company. As you know, yes, I've joined only last year. And I think that when I look at the way Verizon is really, really caring to make sure that first we bring connectivity, we bring innovation everywhere, that we are really at the far edge of innovation and new technology. So it's really, it's great. And we learned a lot during COVID. I was not part of the team, by the way. I've been there for almost a year now. So I was at the end of that learning curve. But just the way we, first of all, treated our employees, it's really impressive. And in that organization, we thrive for customers, but we thrive for our workforce as well. And when we think about it, with over 135,000 employees, we're all Americans and we all, work together. So I think that to see that, to the way we are, we're not going back in time post-COVID. We're really leaning forward, and everything we learned during the pandemic, we try to apply it to bring that value to every customer every day. So there's a lot of things. I think that just the way we've packaged 5G is a thing. You'll see us very active in ACP. We want to talk about it because knowing that 40% of Americans are eligible, they need to know about it. So this is the type of activity and the way of thinking and the way to go to market that you'll see more and more from us in the future.
I think Verizon has found the right leader at the right time. I really am grateful for your excitement, and I think we all feel it. I guess we only have a few seconds left. Do you have any closing thoughts on things we didn't hit on?
I think we touched everything. I think that, without putting an additional layer on it, I think that I really hope that we'll get it done right in terms of that infrastructure bill. I think that the way we see it so far, we can do better altogether. So we're here to do it. And hopefully, that message will go through. I think that Americans deserve it. So.
Manon, I so appreciate your time. I look forward to seeing you at this event for many years to come. And I wish you luck and success in all that you do. Let's give her a round of applause. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, everyone. Thanks, Meredith.